So I thought maybe they would be interested in helping us. So as I sat before my young Kuwaiti brother, he came in with his beautiful white garment and his headpiece, and he kept flinging it, you know. He looked something like Diana Ross with long hair, you know. And I sat in front of the brother, and in came an African to serve us coffee. And he served us beautiful Arabic coffee. And this man proceeded to talk to us in such an arrogant way till I just whipped him. Just beat him up. Because I don't believe that I should be a whore for your money. I don't give a damn about your money. My Allah is sufficient for me. And I don't have to beg or crawl or beg nobody for what Allah promised me and promised us if we believe. So I whooped the hell out of him and got up and walked out of the office. Later that evening, the African brother came to our hotel room. He had never heard anybody talk to them in that manner. He had a PhD degree from Al-Azhar University, and the man that was sitting in front of me had not even a master's degree, but the African with the big degree was serving me coffee and acting like a sycophant. And I ask myself, and I ask all of you, if Islam is real in your life, how can you allow another human being to put you down because of a need that you have or a desire that you have? You let another human being humiliate you, and yet you claim you're a servant of God. When I stand in the presence of kings and rulers, and those that travel with me know, I never back down from telling the truth as I understand it, whether they like it or not, because I don't give a damn for your position. I respect you as the king. I respect you as the president. I respect you as the prime minister. Because Allah says in the Quran, respect those in authority over you. But I will let nobody make a nuisance on or near my post and not call them on it. Now you may ask, Farrakhan, what is your post? See, I'm a soldier. And I know that as Muslims, we are at war. And if you don't recognize that we are at war, then you will never prepare yourself as a soldier to win in combat. It's not a physical confrontation right now. It's the battle for the minds and hearts of the people. We are supposed to be humble because humility is a characteristic of righteous people. But humility should never be taken for weakness or cowardice. I am a Muslim. My post is the Spirit of God that comes with being a Muslim, trying to practice the principles of the religion or the faith, knowing that Satan, once he knows that I'm trying to be a servant of Allah, is going to come at me from within myself and from outside of myself. So I've got to be walking my post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert, observing everything within sight or hearing, because I don't want to be robbed of my Islam. I don't want some Satan, either within myself or outside of myself, to make me a passive Muslim. A passive Muslim is accepted by an unrighteous government because you are passive. You are no threat, only potentially. Satan loves it when you pray 5 times a day and do nothing after you pray. Satan said, keep on praying. Satan loves it when you come to church, sing in the choir, and then don't threaten his world. Satan loves it when you observe the principles and you try to be good, but good for nothing. Because you refuse to recognize that the earth is a battlefield. And until the whole earth becomes a mosque or a house of prayer to the worship of God, we have work to do. Satan loves passive Muslims, passive Christians. And the whole aim of the soldiers when they were fighting Geronimo and Cochise and the boys that wouldn't give up was to take the Indians and pacify them. Pacify them. Promise them peace on a reservation. And let them take the whole of the West. And you just stay on your reservation and mind your business. And we will get along fine. Muslims, stay in your mosque. Say your prayers. Quote the Holy Prophet. Just don't follow him. Because if you follow him, you're going to make trouble for me. And everyone that's trying to follow him and challenging the hegemony of the West is called an Islamic fundamentalist. I say, what's wrong with the fundamentals? If you don't practice the fundamentals of your faith, how could you be a good Christian or a good Muslim if you don't practice the fundamentals? But what they're arguing about is that they have pacified the moderates. They have pacified those who seek favors from America in exchange for pacification. We will recognize you. We will even speak well about you, as long as you accept pacification. 3 generations after me will no longer be of me. And now our beautiful world of Islam lies in ruin. When you go among the members of the Jewish community who are white, they refer to the Arab as the dirty Arab. That's a heck of a name to put on us, because the Prophet gave us an example of cleanliness. He was clean. His quarters were clean. Whatever he had to wear was clean. His body was clean. No odor from his body. How could a dirty group of people claim the Prophet in a mosque that is unclean? I want you to hear me. I went to the mosque at Al-Azhar 20 years ago. And when I went into the mosque, I had to put on something to cover my shoes, because you shouldn't walk in the mosque with your shoes on. But there, they had something to slip over your shoes. But there was so much dust in the mosque. When I put my forehead down, when I picked my forehead up, dirt was on my forehead. And when I looked at the chandeliers, spider webs on the chandeliers. And I said to the Imam, why do you have the house of Allah so dirty? And as Allah is my witness, this is his answer. He said, I wanted to keep it the same way that it was 1400 years ago in the time of the Holy Prophet. I wanted to strangle him. That's the truth. I wanted to rip his throat out, because he not only lied and tried to deceive me, but then he wanted to put his dirt on the Prophet. I'm saying this to my Muslim family. How in the hell can I follow you in a practice that got you dirty, and you won't clean up your house, clean up your mosque, clean up your stores, clean up your neighborhood, clean up your country? I have been in the lounge in Cairo, Egypt, where all the heads of state and dignitaries come in. And I needed to go to the bathroom. And I had to hold myself for hours, because fecal matter was in that toilet all the way up to the seat. I walked away. I was among heads of state and government, and they were giving me tea. And they gave me a glass, and I drank the tea. And when I put the glass down, as I had finished the tea, he poured tea in that glass and gave it to somebody else, oblivious to whether my lips were clean. How can I follow you? Why should I follow you when you have lost the spirit of the prophet himself, and you are masquerading now as a Muslim on the outside, but on the inside you have denied the prophet, you have denied his way, and you are not standing up for your Islam. Tell me I'm lying, tell me I'm false, and I will sit down. Listen. I'm not putting our world down. I love our world of Islam. I praise Allah over and over for this wonderful, wonderful world. But my and your wonderful world of Islam is backward. And it must be brought into the modern time without forsaking the pristine purity of the religion and violating the principles that undergird it. You are behind time. And this is why the Western nations are running over you when God wanted you to be over them. Now, why am I saying this? Not just because it's the truth. I'm not saying it just because it's the truth. I'm saying it to set up a precondition for the coming of Farad Muhammad. You don't understand him, it's all right with me. But I don't want anybody to think that I will banish Farad Muhammad from my vocabulary, or Elijah Muhammad from my vocabulary, simply because I love Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, adore the Holy Quran. Don't ask me to do that. I will fight you till death overtakes me if you ask me to do that. You have no right to ask me to do that. If he's my sheikh, then don't ask me to put him down. Yeah, but what we're asking you is that you not say that Allah came in his person. That's all we're asking. Take that number 12 off of the back page of the paper, and we will agree with you, and we'll get along fine. Oh, we're going to get along fine anyway. We're going to get along fine. I promise you, we're going to get along fine. But I would like to tell you why. I would like to tell you why we are slowly uniting with our world of Islam. Beloved family, it has always been the desire of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Farad Muhammad that we unite with the Muslim world. From day one, I have Dr. Salam here, I have the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Jabir Muhammad, here, and many of the old followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad here. You know that when we got our Supreme Wisdom letter, it said, join on to your own kind. That was a problem of how to get black people in America who are Muslims by nature to reconnect ourselves to our world of Islam. That was a problem that needed a solution. From the time that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad established the paper, Muhammad Speaks, on the masthead of that paper was the Muslim brother in America and our brothers in the East joining hands. And the brother in the East had affairs on. He was not only an African, but he was a Muslim. Listen now. There's a book out today called The Clash of Civilizations. It's talking about Western hegemony and the clash with Islam. Because President Nixon said, communism is not the enemy of democracy. The enemy of democracy is fundamentalist Islam. Now, if you don't see yourself as a fundamentalist, you're saying, oh, it's those people. No, brother. It's you too. If you believe in this book, Quran, it's only a matter of time before the Quran is ignited in your heart, in your soul. They don't trust anybody that believes in Allah, whether you are passive or active. They hope to keep you passive, but they all know that one day you will become active. Now listen. Everybody all right? Look. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that we, black people in America, were absolutely friendless. Our natural family in Africa, our natural family of Muslims, we were cut off from them. And the only person that we had to look to as a friend was any benevolent white person who acted like he was a friend. We were friendless. For 300 years, chattel slavery, and the Caucasian Christian locked the book, Bible. I'm glad that the Pope is asking for forgiveness for the sins of the church. He mentioned the native people. He didn't mention us. But the so-called Christians that robbed our fathers of their name, their language, their culture, their religion, their history, their God. The church was in full force. There was no pope to speak for us. The Anglican church fathers didn't speak on our behalf. We were all looking for a friendly white face. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us, Islam would make friends for us all the way around the earth. He said Islam the natural religion of the human being. With Muslims all over the world, once you became a Muslim, you would have all of this as your family. But a family poisoned by racism, poisoned by white supremacy, poisoned by Arab supremacy. Because God chose the Arabs to bring to us the Holy Quran, to the world. And I can say with joy in my heart that I thank Allah for the Arabs, for no matter what their faults and their shortcomings are, the book, Quran, today is as pure as it was the day Allah revealed it to His servant. There is no book on this earth that can claim such purity. So no matter what errors or mistakes the Arabs have made, that is one they did not make, and because of that, Allah said through the Prophet, or the Prophet said, pardon me, he heard the footsteps of Bilal going into paradise ahead of his own, which really means that in the last days, the people of Bilal would be awakened and they would lead the Arab back to the path of God that they had deviated from 3 generations after the Prophet. The Prophet passed. 1,000 years went on, and a new world was discovered by Europeans. You cannot deny that this Western Hemisphere is a completely new world. The United States of America, the greatest nation in the New World and the greatest nation in the world. America. A nation of 260 million people that comprise all the nations of the earth. A nation that has a corrupted understanding of the revelation of Musa and Isa. So you could say it is a nation that has never had divine guidance. Come on now, talk to me. Let's agree on truth. This book, Quran, was known in America because the first president, George Washington, was a Muslim shriner or Muslim son. And he knew the value of the book Quran because the Quran is a part of the secret order of the high Masonic order. When I first became a Muslim in the city of Boston, I went to the public library, and there in the rare book section, secret, I had to prove I was a Muslim before they would even allow me to take the Quran down and read it in the library. Because this book was forbidden for the common American. True, true, true. I'm setting up a precondition. Our brothers from the East came. Some of them tried to teach us Islam and were imprisoned for trying to tell us about Allah. And many of our fathers that were brought into slavery were already Muslims. But they did not want any Islam in the Western Hemisphere. So they killed our parents to keep them from teaching Islam to the children. They separate the children from the parents. And you remember that old spiritual, couldn't hear nobody pray? Because as Muslims, there's a call. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Imagine on a plantation, separated from your children, and it's time for Salatul Fajr. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Our babies hear it. And then the baby will say, Allah, Allah, the name of the one true God. And the slave master would come, and any of the children that knew the name of Allah, they would be killed, so couldn't hear nobody pray. You're not to pass on to the slave this great natural faith. It was not to happen until a certain time. I appeal to you to reason with us. This man, Farad Muhammad, is a very unusual man from my vantage point. I never saw him. I only have a picture of him. And the picture I have of him, he's reading the Holy Quran. I guess he was telling us in that picture, study the book. Wait. When he came among us, listen to this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he was in America 20 years before he made himself known to Elijah Muhammad. What was he doing? I got to tell you something about him, because he's greatly misunderstood. And I love him. And I thank Allah for him. What do you mean you thank Allah for him? Didn't you all say he was Allah in person? Wait. Oh, beloved, misunderstanding of religion is one of the gravest things, because it puts us on a wrong course. We misunderstood a lot. Can I say this to you? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. And we were given lessons that we had to commit to memory. The questions were from Master Farad Muhammad. The answers were from Elijah Muhammad. And on the top of it, it said, this is the answers of one of the lost founds. Study them. They're very near correct. Wait. Very near correct. If Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, is there any answer in mathematics that is near correct? It's either right or what? Well, if it's very near correct and we were told to study it, and those of us who happen to be around the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the latter days of his presence among us, he said, ask me questions on these lessons. He said, oh, that's what I said when I was a baby. Then in the instructions to the laborers, he said, baby language will not be accepted. We thought baby language meant cursing or something. Well, of course it does mean that. But baby language means you will never be accepted universally if you stick to the answers that he gave you when he was a baby in the teachings. You have to grow up now. And listen. Wait. This man, Farad Muhammad, for 20 years, they said he was going to college. He was studying white people, studying the mind of black people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he studied 42 years to deliver us. That's a lot of study. What was he studying? Now listen, a man born February 26, 1877, he came from the womb of his mother. He came into the world knowing nothing. That's real. He prayed. Who did he pray to? He didn't pray to himself. Who did he pray to? He prayed to Allah, the originator of the heavens and the earth. If he didn't pray to Allah, he wouldn't be worth anything. Because he had to give praise to Allah who gave him the form. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, tongue, brain. He didn't originate this form. He was born in the form originated by Allah. He came into the universe originated by Allah. He studied the creation of Allah. Listen. He studied the creation to seek to master it. Because Allah gave that to us. To master what he created. It is possible. We just have not seen anybody who has done it. How could the human being, Adam, be the vicegerent, Khalifa of Allah? How can a human being stand in the place of Allah and not exercise the wisdom, the power, the guidance, the mercy, the beneficence of the God that he's standing in the place of? Don't tell me that I am Khalifa, that I can stand in the place of Allah if I can't execute the wisdom and the power and the guidance of Allah by his permission. Listen. To deny that of him is to deny that of yourself. It is to deny the revelation of Allah in the Quran that there was a man named Adam that Allah created from dust or from sperm mixed with ovum or from black mud. And he informed Adam of the names of the angels and told the angels to bow down to Adam. He made Adam his Khalifa. So if Adam is Khalifa and you are the children of Adam, who are you? Are you not predisposed to be Khalifa? Are you not predisposed with the natural ability to master what Allah created and put into your service? You have that ability. The white man is not a righteous man. But look at what he's doing. He's showing you the realm of possibility of the human being. And he is limited because of his unrighteousness. What could he accomplish if he surrendered to God? And what can we accomplish if we surrender to God? Or maybe in your lifetime, in my lifetime, we would not be the Khalifa that Adam was. But if you get started, maybe 3 or 4 generations down the road, you'll have a son or a grandson or a great-grandson that will become a literal master. Like some of us are producing children right now, 5 years old, they're computer literate genius. It's not impossible. It's only impossible if you believe it to be impossible. So look, listen to me, please. This man Farad, he had a white mother and a black father. Strange. So he could get among us. If you ever see his picture, he looks like a white man. So we can't be color conscious. We can't hate white because he was so close to it. Yet we love him. Say, well, look at this. He was made like that so he could slip in among us and among them to learn all about the way they think and the way we think. Then what he had to do as a physician. My brother Imam Warithuddin called it a concoction. All right, I'll take that word. Because you know, when you go in a laboratory, after research to develop a cure for a disease that had never been in the world before, you might come out with what they call a concoction. But if you take it and it starts healing you, then the man who gave you the concoction was in fact a physician, a master chemist who understood your condition and healed it with this prescription, concoction. Okay. This man Farad, man, he studied the white man's mind. Now look, if you're gonna be successful, you got to beat him in his head. You can't kill the white man with a gun. You can kill 1 or 2, but the ideas that rule his head can only be killed by a superior idea that gets into his head. Now I want you to hear me good now. The Caucasian rules us because he infected our minds with an idea of inferiority that has taken root in the black man. Tell me I'm lying. Can you imagine you say I'm a Muslim? Look at the word. I am a Muslim, but I'm inferior. See, the two are not congruent. They don't go together. Muslim and inferiority don't hang out together. Because if you surrender to God, who is the supreme, how could you be inferior when God and God alone is he whom you worship?